Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This episode of the show, I wanted to talk a little bit about Laura Horvath and her handstand push-ups. If you are new to the sport, you might be aware Laura Horvath, one of the best athletes in the world, is not the greatest at handstand push-ups, especially when it comes to deficit handstand push-ups, block handstand push-ups, strict handstand push-ups. I wanted to see, how she has performed in these events across the board, as well as has it had any impact to her. She's been quite successful over the past couple seasons, so kind of see has her, issue placing well in handstand push-up events impacted her on the final leaderboard. Wanted to kind of go back in time, start off with the 22 Rogue Invitational. So if you watch this, you probably saw Laura Horvath in the snatch and press event struggle on the deficit handstand push-ups because, well, she finished last in her heat, and the cameraman stayed with her for the entire heat, and even instead of showing the people who were doing their handstand push-ups. So we got to see Chase and the guys talk a long time about how she's not great at them. So in this event, she finished 19th out of 20 athletes. So right at the bottom of the pack. In terms of the actual competition, though, she still won it. She won it with a 55-point spread. But just kind of hypothetically speaking, what if she finished 10th out of 20 athletes? She would have been still won, but would have had a 100-point cushion over Annie Thorsdottir instead of the 55-point spread. Moving back to the 2022 CrossFit Games, she finished dead last, 39th position. So this was the Echo Press event with the introduction of the block handstand push-ups. So at the 2022 CrossFit Games, she finished third. She was 64 points behind Mal O'Brien. If she had finished, again, mid-pack, 20th overall, she still would have finished third overall at the CrossFit Games, but 25 points back from Mal. So did it make a difference? No. Maybe would it have been a bit closer towards the end potentially, but again, just strictly speaking, if she had finished 20th out of 39 people in this event, she still would have been third. Just the gap would have been closer. Moving back to quarterfinals this year at the Lowlands Throwdown, there was the Devil Advocates event. So this one just had your regular handstand push-ups. She finished 4th out of 30th in this field. Again, semifinal, so it's going to be a weaker field than we'll see at the games at Rogue. But again, finished 4th, really respectable, and she won the competition. So really not much there. Going back to Dubai in 2021, so event 4 was a pyramid chipper. At the top of it was 10 parallel handstand push-ups. So even though there was parallel handstand push-ups, really didn't play any meaningful role in the event. Laura Horvath finished second, on her way to winning the competition by 33 points. Then going back to 2021 Rogue. So here we had the event, the chipper event called Chipper. So we had strict handstand push-ups in this event. Laura Horvath, again, finished 19th out of 20 athletes, racked up 10 points in the event. So we're looking at this one. Overall in the competition, she finished 4th, 20 points behind Gabriella Magala. So if she had finished hypothetically 10th out of 20 people in the competition, she actually would have moved up to 3rd overall in this competition, at 25 points ahead of Magala. So here we do see, if she was, simply average at handstand push-ups, it would have bumped her up a single position. So there was an impact there, but still, 4th to 3rd, it still is, you're in the prize money getting onto the podium there, but not that meaningful of a jump considering she did finish, second last in the event. Going a bit further back, 2021, event 14, this was our freestanding handstand push-ups. She actually finished 10th out of 20 athletes. So again, right in the mid-pack. She was average in that event. Ultimately, she was still 256 points behind Tia. So even if she did win the event, it really wouldn't have made a difference there. So looking back, last 2 years, all that's been said about Laura Horvath and her handstand push-ups, it's only impacted her a single position in one competition. So she still would have had the win at Rogue, the win at Lowlands, the win at Dubai, second at the 2021 CrossFit Games, third at the 2022 CrossFit Games. So for everything that is said about Laura Horvath and her handstand push-ups, it hasn't actually made any meaningful difference the last couple of years. Going back further, there is one competition that potentially there may have been more of a meaningful difference to Horvath in the competition, and that was the 2019 CrossFit Games. So all the cuts as we go through. So there was the final set of cuts after event 7. Laura Horvath finished 21 points behind Amanda Barnhart, who was that 10th qualifier to the final 10. So in the 2019 games, there was the 6th event was Mary, which had, the AMRAP, 5 handstand push-ups, 10 pistols, 15 pull-ups. And so Laura Horvath in that event finished 27th out of 30 athletes. So for her to have made the cut, she needed to finish in 20th. So again, kind of in that mid-pack range, she would have needed an extra, essentially round and a half of Mary to finish in that spot ahead of Emily Rolfe. So again, maybe if she was, average in handstand push-ups, maybe it would have made the difference there. It's hard to say because there was also the pistols, which is difficult for a taller athlete such as Horvath. So again, it is kind of speculation there, but that's really the only meaningful spot that we have seen or that I've found that would have shown that if she was potentially elite, it would have made a positive difference to her at the CrossFit Games in 2019. But overall, it is just a lot of talk. It's unfortunate that whenever there is an event and she does finish near the back, the camera's always on her. There's a lot of airtime to fill, so there's only one thing to talk about is Laura Horvath and her handstand push-ups. But ultimately, last 2 years hasn't made any meaningful difference. Going into 2023, it is hard to say. Obviously, with Tia out, the field's pretty wide open. Chances are it's going to be Horvath and O'Brien fighting for that top spot on the podium. So maybe there is a chance for her to improve her handstand push-ups to make things a bit more competitive with some more points on the board. But again, with anything in training, the more time Horvath puts into her handstand push-ups, it takes away from all the things that she is elite and the best in the world at. So there is a time difference, or a trade-off, I should say, in terms of where your effort goes and what improves and what doesn't improve. Again, if she did spend all of last year working on her handstand push-ups, would she have finished 19th at Rogue in that event? Probably not. Would she have also won 4 straight events on her way to winning the competition? Potentially no as well. So trade-offs, but what we've seen over the last couple of years, Laura Horvath, her handstand push-ups, hasn't really made any meaningful difference to her results. So with that, thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Franlung Analytics. Subscribe to the podcast either on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any of the major platforms. Thanks for following us. Check out the site. Let us know what you think, and let us know what you think of Laura Horvath's handstand push-ups and if it actually makes a difference based off of this. All right, thanks. Have a great day.